Did you eat off of paper plates and things like that so you wouldn't have to do dishes? And now you're sort of like with a girl, you're like, let's get out the good china. Like, what?
No,
how is this possible?
I think that your life just becomes more boring when you're in a relationship and you have more hours to spend. So, you get more stuff done. You spend more time doing stuff. Because, I'm as clean as I've ever been. I just spend more time doing it now.
What is it about being in a relationship where you have to do stuff together? You have to have a shared experience. Like, and maybe this is a guy-girl divide. I'm not sure. Maybe this is, we're from Mars, they're from Venus. They like to go out. We like to stay in. Like, but don't you find that you go out, like you put all this work into building a home so you can leave it and go out of it all the time? Like, do you find that in a relationship you're constantly going out and doing things together as opposed to just sitting at home and vegetating like you used to?
In the beginning of the relationship, when you're courting, I go out like, 2 or 3 times a week. But after that, I'm a homebody. Let's go on a Netflix marathon. That's what I'm all, because the less time spent outside for me, the better.
I am, amen, brother. Yes, I am one of the last great true indoorsmen.
That's what makes it special too. Is when you go out here's and there's.
Yeah. That's kind of true. Let me ask you this. Is she as open to the idea of sitting at home, vegetating, whilst going through everything in your Netflix queue?
Yeah, we're supposed to go on another Breaking Bad marathon, so that'll lock me in for a couple of months. Yeah, she's all about it. A lot of chicks are like
cool.
that, though. They like, once they have arm candy, they kind of settle in, too. At least the ones I hang out with.
That's an interesting one. I don't know. You know what I find? I find Netflix in the instant queue makes me want to go out because I can't get into, I will spend so much more time going through my instant queue and adding things to my instant queue than actually sort of like watching stuff. Like, there's things that have been on my Netflix instant queue for years, and I think they're like vaguely edifying, but they're also 2.5 hours long, and I know I'm never going to choose to watch them, but I've noticed that the longer I have Netflix, the longer I spend either going through the queue or adding things to the queue, and it's that non-committal thing. Do you do this too, where it's just like, there's nothing in my queue I want to watch. Let's see what the new releases are. This looks good. Not good enough to watch now, but I'll put it in my queue for later. It's never going to get watched. Do you do that too?
Yeah, well, we share our Netflix. So, something will come up. I'll look in the instant queue, and there's all the seasons of Cake Boss in there. And I'll be like, scroll through that. And then there's the Kardashians. It's like, why would you even add that? We're never gonna watch that. So it's like a battle.
Did you find yourself going through your Netflix instant queue going like, apparently I'll like this because of the fact that I enjoy quirky foreign comedies with a strong female lead? Yeah, that's definitely me. Absolutely.
Yeah, the stuff that changes. It's like, here's suggestions for you. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch that at all. I'm not interested in the wedding shows and the chicks, Atlanta Housewives show. Like, get me out of here.
Based on your interest on Cake Boss and Megan Wants a Millionaire, we also think you like these hours of your life sucked away by vapid nonsense.
Please.
Another benefit to being single, you're more rested. Single people get almost 30 minutes of extra sleep a night on average, partly because you don't have to share a bed with another person. Yeah, but you know what? That 30 minutes of extra sleep, I would happily say goodbye to that in exchange for being able to poke someone and be like, hey, want to do it? Like, in my optimistic mind, that's what's happening with those 30 minutes.
Yeah, keep being optimistic there.
You're more likely to do well at work if you're single. One study looked at the careers of scientists and found that the ones who stayed single longer ended up peaking later in life. And female scientists who have their doctorate are twice as likely to be single. those could probably both be seen as negatives too, though. Like peaking later in life. I don't know. Does that mean you're just slower getting there, or does that mean you get to a higher peak because you spent longer getting there before you're like, okay, that's it for me. I just want to sit home and take the path of least resistance by watching another Kardashian show.
I think when you're focused on your peak, you've passed it.
These quantum physics and molecular biology are just great. But who did Megan end up choosing on the Once a Millionaire show? What else? Let's see. When you're single, you can spend your money however you want to. In a recent study, they found that 35% of couples who combine finances admit they've lied about something they bought or hidden something about their finances. Now, have you guys had any communication about money, seeing as you have a new cohabitation situation?
Yeah, I just bought a fridge.
You just bought a fridge?
Yeah, that's my expenditures now. Stuff like that.
Well, I mean,
that's a one-off, but
I think it would be wrong of you to put any burden of resentment on your relationship because you purchased a fridge. Because whether you were in a relationship or out of a relationship, you'd want to refrigerate your foodstuffs.
This is
I think
true.
you just would. But do you have sort of have you decided how you're going to divvy up the bills and things like that?
Oh, yeah, we had that talk. I whipped out the whiteboard and we did the 50-50 thing to figure out how much, we did the budget thing. And she's got way better credit than me. So, that's a little intimidating.
Uh-huh. But did you actually whip out a whiteboard and do a 50-50 split on stuff? Now, that might seem unromantic, but I think having clearly defined ideas of what your area of responsibility is going to stop resentment from creeping in a little later on. So I think that's a very good, healthy thing to do.
It's all in how you do it, too, because I busted out the Carl Sagan when I did it, and I go, we're going to live a fantastic life, but we're going to do it 50-50, and here's how.
Now, okay, so was the whiteboard, we're going to do this 50-50 thing, was that your idea? Do you think she would have chosen to do that if it wasn't for you?
No. The finances are usually, the last thing the girlfriend thinks of, at least in my history. They make money, but they don't really talk about how they spend it.
Well, I don't know. Your chick has significantly better credit than you do, apparently. So I would imagine that she's a little bit more fiscally intuitive than maybe the chicks you've been hanging out with in the past.
Yeah, that's what made the 50-50 talk easy. Because she's actually
and she was
smart.
okay with that.
Yeah, she's a smart cookie. She figured it out.
She figured it out. That's good. So, how does a 50-50 thing work? I mean, it's hard to have 50-50. Are you going to be like the Joy Luck Club where it's just no, you ate one of my oranges?
No, I think we're going to open up an account together and put all the bill money in that. You know what I mean? That seems to be the smartest way to do it. And then everything's attached to one account and it's not mine or hers, and we can both have separate ones. And then just at the 15th and 1st or whatever, dump a bunch of money into that account. That's the plan, at least. What's the Carl Sagan plan that we came up with?
That's a Carl Sagan plan. So, out of that account, all bills will be paid.
Yes.
Include rent, utilities, cable, electricity.
Even my Spotify account.
Oh, really? So she's going to pay for half of your Spotify account?
Yes.
Does she get to use it?
Yeah, well, I'm paying half of her Netflix account, so...
Oh, well, I thought it was your Netflix account. I thought you were all annoyed by the quirky British dramas with a strong female lead that were showing up as your recommended viewing.
Nope. Once I started paying for half of it, then I went,
Very interesting how when she's not around, the way you speak about the Netflix account, it would make me assume that it was yours to begin with.
Yeah,
yeah. So she gets to use your Spotify account. You get to use her Netflix account. What else have you combined? This is very interesting.
Well,
because I want to do we can talk about this stuff now. We know she's not listening because you said she's in a meeting. Yeah. So we can talk about this stuff now. And 6 months from now, when she's in a meeting, I want to kind of revisit this area and see exactly see how this stuff's going. What about food?
Oh, we take turns going to the grocery store. She'll go one time and I'll go the next time. Sometimes.
What if you want to go grocery shopping together? Do you keep track of who paid?
we go together, but I'll pay one, she'll pay, I'll pay one time, she'll pay the other time. Unless it's a big fat bill, then we'll split it.
Right. Interesting.
But, that's
now,
before we open up the joint account.
So, like, do you eat the same amount of food and the same types of food? Like, who has more expensive taste?
She's not listening right now, right? Yeah, she eats a lot more than I do.
She's a petite girl. I don't know where she puts it.
That's probably why.
Metabolism. That's, yeah. But like, who has more expensive taste? I mean, if she's out eating you in sheer poundage, like, is there something like, oh, I love this particular brand of truffles. Like, which one of you is going to like be pushing the boat out on expensive food and drinks? Which one's going to be?
We're pretty evenly matched, and that's what's good about it is, we're kind of the same type of person. So there's no difference.
Interesting. Well, we shall revisit this 6 months from now. Tomorrow, very interesting audio from Ferguson. When a bunch of protesters rolled up on one Jesse Jackson. Have yourself an awesome one.
You know how a lot of times you feel like it's cool to turn